We are the pirates who don't do anything. We just stay home and lay around.
So if you are feeling guilty about piracy, if you are feeling guilty about all of that software you have saved on your rig, today's story should make you proud to be someone sailing on the high seas. After all, the great White Hope once said himself, piracy is a service issue. And I couldn't agree more. Nobody realistically wants the video game industry to face any sort of crash.
I disagree.
It's just a necessity at this point. With the pure incompetence of corporations like Microsoft and Sony, you can't afford to not be sailing the high seas. Both have absolutely zero reason to have your trust right now. And every single time we gamers think we're winning, in reality, they're just planning their next boneheaded decision, knowing fully well that customers are not going to receive the news all too well. But why let such short-sightedness get in the way of artificially padding your PSN numbers to impress your investors who have no clue what that even means? Helldivers 2 purchase restrictions were updated to add Baltics. Furthermore, Ghost of Tsushima has now the same purchase restrictions.
What? But I'm willing to pay you. Here. Nope, no purchases allowed.
Well, that there proves it. Sony cares way more about how big their PSN account numbers look like than the money you're handing them over to purchase the video game. Thousands are receiving refunds for their pre-purchase of Ghosts, since the publisher of the game was now requiring a secondary account to play portions of it. And seeing as how a PSN cannot be created in your country, they just decided to pull the whole thing from you. Sony has now also blocked all of these countries from purchasing Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Wow, Japan is one of those countries. Wow.
Oh shit!
How the mighty PlayStation has fallen. Wow. At the very least, everybody gets their money back, so no one's getting scammed. This was warned ahead of time, but the amount of countries restricted makes you wonder, PlayStation, do you hate money? That can't be. It doesn't make any logical sense to miss out on so many potential sales. You know, the best part is how the community notes were completely wrong on this one, telling people, no, you can still play and purchase the single player. It's just the multiplayer that requires PSN, thus making community notes completely useless as a tool, completely unreliable, which is just further proof the average Twitter user doesn't participate in most of the things they are talking about on social media. They don't actually use Steam, and yet they think they can community note people, when Steam users themselves will tell you, hey, I pre-purchased this. It was completely refunded, all because of the multiplayer. When Steam users were led to believe they would be able to play it without PSN because it featured a single player mode that didn't require it. Now hold on, Fripp, before you continue to accuse my precious corporation. You need to reassure it wasn't Sony. For all you know, it could be Gabe Newell and Steam, and you PC gamers are crediting the wrong people, because dear old PlayStation, they wouldn't make such a boneheaded, incompetent decision. For those saying Steam is the one that banned Ghost of Tsushima and Helldivers 2 in 180 countries, nope. It was the publisher. I apologize for the delay on our response, and I understand your eagerness to resolve the issue. However, following Sony's recent announcement, PSN account linking is no longer required for Helldivers 2. Also, it looks like this game is not available in Steam right now for specific regions, as decided by the publisher. This information is all we have right now, and we can't tell when the game might be made available in those countries. You may consider getting in touch with the game's publisher to ask for more details about it, or share your feedback to them. You know, it's funny how the PSN requirement should have been more than enough evidence to inform the average person that it was indeed Sony behind the scenes on the whole thing. I mean, I don't know how anyone could doubt it was Sony's decision. A PSN requirement is a move that can only be made by that publisher.
The notoriously racist PC community has thrown a hissy fit. in pretending to care that Helldivers 2 will not be available in much of the global south. As a Nigerian, I do hope this is remedied, but please don't let these PC terrorists weaponize people of color to further their own agendas.
Why is it always made about race? We can't even stand up for consumers without separating them by skin color now. What is this low-income mentality? Seriously. Ooh, Fred, can you really say that? Shut the f up, I'll say whatever the hell I want. We're trying to get something done, and jackasses like you just have to show up with your console war tribalist mentality and your culture war BS on top of that. And I bet you anything he's the type of person to complain about mistreatment everywhere he goes, but when you see the way he tweets, you know he's always the first person in the room that starts every single altercation. Hey, I can't buy this game on Steam. Sony pulled it. Racist! Jesus Christ, I mean, just because rage baiting works for you everywhere else you go, doesn't mean it's gonna take full effect on social media. This is the mind of an ignorant person with a whole lot of problems, mainly one of insecurity against PC users. Let's face it, they hate us, and like I've said many times, because they ain't us. If PC gamers are region locked, they have every right to speak about it. What, should they stay quiet? And you wonder why you're charged for online. It's funny because like Sony's the one choosing to lock all of these countries out, and yet PC gamers are the racist. You gotta make that make sense for me, please. Yeah, you know, just region lock 177 countries out of this game. Oh, what's that? You wanna take a stance against this? You wanna speak out against my precious company? You're canceled.
Thanks for showing your link Xbox, Discord, Apple, but PSN is where you draw the line.
This is just typical PlayStation fanboys. They take it so personal if you do not adhere to PlayStation's demands. If you don't want to become one with the brand, they'll turn on you. But never mind that's a luxury afforded to those of us who can subscribe to PSN in our country. However, this intellectual powerhouse here seems to not realize this is predominantly an issue that affects hundreds of other countries. It's not that PSN is where the line is drawn for those folks, it's that they literally can't do it. Do you understand this? Can you get that through your head? They can't. People like me, we choose not to, because we don't want PlayStation collecting our data with their shitty ass application. This isn't some small niche issue, it's literally a worldwide issue. And yet you want to fight with people because they say it should remain optional to sign up for PSN so we could resolve this stupid ass issue. I don't understand. Are they just pre-programmed to take the side of Sony? Perfect time for this meme. Xbox supported in 42 countries. I sleep. PSN supported in 75 countries. Real shit.
Waka waka, who wants to hear a funny ass joke?
Look, peasant, it's best you stay in your own lane. You have absolutely no idea what the hell you're talking about. You just see Sony being criticized and you feel, I must go suck their dick, without having a single clue as to what people are annoyed about and why it's such an issue. All you need is a Microsoft account to play Xbox games, not an Xbox account. And unlike the Xbox account, the Microsoft account is readily available in more parts of the world than either PSN or Xbox Live. So for PC users, it's not that big of an issue. However, for those attempting to make a PSN account, it's basically impossible where they live. And the problem being that since it's mandatory, there isn't anything they can do about it. The issues are not remotely the same level of problematic. It's a false equivalency built by pure ignorance and misunderstanding of the situation. Because when PlayStation has to face some criticism, you always have this crowd coming to their aid. A Microsoft Windows account is easy to make. Microsoft Windows is available in over 190 countries. PSN, a very low 69. And Xbox Live, even less. So at the very least, PC gamers have a workaround. But when it comes to the PlayStation title, they don't have that. But you can't help yourself. You see a need to defend PlayStation and you go for it. Even though this is objectively a bad move to make for consumers and for the company themselves, missing out on more potential sales and customers because you're too damn stubborn and want to mandate PSN in places where you can't even have it. It's stupid. And Sony's empty promises are gonna do nothing. Telling people it's not mandated and then reinforcing it through a single player game. Why do I have to explain to you why this is stupid? I shouldn't have to do that. It should be common sense. The best part is, you know, this person comes from the very same crowd that demonizes emulation and video game preservation on PC. These people who cheerlead these companies, they're your enemy. They're not your friends. Sony has taught them well. It's all smiles with each other and constantly talking about how they're gonna consume the next product and not ask questions, and very highly trained to combat anybody who opposes Sony's boneheaded decisions. Any single horrendous anti-consumer practice you could think of, these guys would defend if it involved Sony. They don't even really want to understand people's problem. They just want to console war with you. They want to make it about, oh, nobody has an issue until it involves Sony. Yeah, you know, a lot of issues aren't easy to notice until $1 billion company makes it known.
PC activists, I can't buy Ghost of Tsushima in Fiji. Sony.
You love how they say PC activists when this is just PC users. The majority complaining are people that live within those regions. Folks like me, we're choosing not to make a PSN because I don't want to. It's gonna take more than a couple of mid-exclusive titles to get me to make a PSN account, Sony. What do you think I am? Come on, throw in some perks and then maybe we'll talk. But for people in these regions, they don't think like me. They think to themselves, sure, whatever, I'll make a PSN. Oh wait, I can't. That's not activism, that's inconvenience brought forward by $1 billion corporation who can't get its head out of its ass. It's funny how they call PC gamers who are actively trying to buy this product from PlayStation and pleading with them to make it so are called activists. And yet the very same pony crowd just 2 days ago was crying out for a studio being shut down that they were mocking and putting down last year because its game wasn't on their console. Filing a complaint to get your product. Activism. Crying for studio shutdowns that every other company does on God's green earth. Not activism. Nobody picks and chooses their own battles more than PlayStation fanboys. They're absolutely insane. And anyways, we got more stuff to cover today, so keep your eye out on the notifications. And with that being said, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Free Congo sucks ass.